The day Earth made contact with aliens was surprisingly ordinary. No massive ships blocking the sun, no laser beams, just a simple radio message picked up by a station in New Mexico. 6 months later, the first alien delegation arrived in a modest ship that landed in a field outside of Geneva. Eric Martinez stood at attention in his crisp Navy uniform. At 32, he never expected to be one of humanity's first representatives to an interstellar community. Yet here he was, chosen for his unusual combination of military discipline, diplomatic training, and his background in xenobiology. "Remember," Admiral Kelly whispered to the assembled team, "no sudden movements. Their sensory systems are different from ours." The alien ship's door slid open with a soft hiss. 3 beings emerged, tall, slender creatures with pale blue skin that seemed to shimmer slightly. They had 4 arms each and large oval eyes that blinked sideways. "Welcome to Earth," said Ambassador Green, stepping forward. One alien placed a small device on its throat and spoke. "We represent the Galactic Union. We bring greetings from 27 spacefaring species." That had been 3 weeks ago. Now, Eric found himself aboard the USS Horizon, Earth's first faster-than-light vessel, built with guidance from their new allies. They were headed to Centauri Station, a massive space hub where representatives from various worlds gathered. "Nervous?" asked Carol Baker, the ship's communication specialist. Her short red hair framed a face with more freckles than stars in a clear night sky. "A little," Eric admitted. "They're taking us to a diplomatic dinner. I've been told to expect some unusual customs." Carol laughed. "Just don't do anything I wouldn't do." "That leaves a lot of room for trouble," Eric said with a grin. Hours later, Eric stood in a vast hall filled with creatures of all shapes and sizes. Some floated in bubbling tanks. Others hovered on anti-gravity platforms. The room buzzed with translator devices trying to keep up with dozens of different languages. A tall, insect-like being approached Eric. "I am Ambassador Creel of the Vostig Confederation," it clicked through its translator. "I must warn you about the refreshments." "Warn me?" Eric asked. "Yes. We have separated the substances that are safe for humans. Please avoid the red-marked items. They contain compounds lethal to most sentient species." Eric followed Creel to a large table. Various foods and drinks were arranged neatly with colored tags. The red-tagged section contained several items that looked oddly familiar. "This substance," Creel pointed to a small bowl with a red liquid, "contains capsaicin. Even small amounts can cause extreme pain and potential neural damage to most species." Eric peered closer. "That looks like hot sauce. You recognize this toxin?" Creel's antennae twitched in alarm. "It's not toxic to us. It's a condiment. We put it on food." Creel's translator made an unusual sound, perhaps the equivalent of a gasp. Eric picked up another red-tagged item. "And this is just chocolate. We eat it for dessert." A crowd of aliens had gathered now, watching with what Eric assumed was horror. He realized they were waiting to see what would happen next. With a shrug, Eric dipped his finger in the hot sauce and tasted it. Not bad. Tastes like habanero." A collective gasp echoed through the hall. An alien with tentacles swayed as if about to faint. "How are you still standing?" Creel asked. "That amount of capsaicin would incapacitate a Vostig for days." "It's just spicy," Eric explained. "Humans enjoy the sensation. It adds flavor." "Enjoys pain?" A bubble-dwelling alien gurgled through its translator. "It's not really pain," Eric said, though he realized that wasn't entirely true. "It's more like excitement for the taste buds." A small, furry alien approached cautiously. "Your species willingly consumes neurotoxins for pleasure?" "I suppose we do," Eric admitted, suddenly feeling very alien himself. News spread quickly throughout the station. By the end of the night, Eric found himself surrounded by curious aliens. All word about the humans who ate poison spread through the galaxy faster than light. Within days, news feeds on every planet in the Galactic Union featured stories about Earth and its strange inhabitants who consumed toxic substances for enjoyment. Olivia Russell was tending to her herb garden when she got the call. Her restaurant, Northwest Fusion in Seattle had earned 3 stars and a reputation for bold flavors that mixed traditions from around the world. She never expected those skills would qualify her for space travel. "Ms. Russell," said the voice on her phone, "this is Admiral Kelly from the United Earth Space Command. We'd like to discuss an opportunity with you." 3 weeks later, Olivia stood in a gleaming kitchen aboard the Centauri station, surrounded by cooking equipment she had insisted on bringing from Earth. Pots of basil, cilantro, and other herbs lined one wall. A locked case contained her precious collection of dried peppers and spices. "You understand your role here, Chef Russell?" asked Eric Martinez, who had been assigned as her liaison. "You're not just cooking, you're a diplomat now." Olivia tied her curly brown hair back and nodded. "Feed people good food and they'll trust you. That works the same on any planet, I bet." The space station authorities had reluctantly allowed Olivia to open Terran Tastes, the first Earth restaurant in space. They insisted on warning signs at the entrance, listing all the dangerous compounds inside. The sign made Olivia laugh. It listed salt, sugar, and vanilla along with capsaicin and caffeine. On opening day, no aliens came to eat. They only gathered outside the large viewing window, watching as humans consumed their meals. "It's like we're in a zoo," complained Carol Baker, who had become a regular customer. "They just stand there and stare." "Give them time," Olivia said. "Curiosity is the first step to understanding." By the second week, aliens would enter the restaurant, but only to watch. They whispered to each other as humans ate pizza with red pepper flakes or sipped coffee. Some recorded videos of people eating chocolate cake. One evening after closing time, there was a soft tap on the kitchen door. Olivia opened it to find a tall, thin alien with skin that looked like polished silver and large, dark eyes. "I am Silk," the alien said through a translator device. "I am a researcher of xenobiology. May I speak with you?" Olivia invited Zilk in and offered a seat. "I have been studying humans since your arrival," Zilk said. "Your biological adaptations are fascinating. I have a hypothesis that some of my species might safely consume certain Earth foods in small amounts." "You want to try our food?" Olivia asked, surprised. "Yes," Zilk admitted. "A small group of us are curious. We have conducted tests that suggest our biology can process mild versions of your spices." Olivia thought for a moment. "I'd need to be very careful. Start with extremely mild flavors." "Of course," Silk agreed. "We understand the risk, but knowledge is worth pursuing." The next evening, after regular hours, Olivia welcomed Zilk and 4 other aliens to her kitchen. She had prepared the mildest dishes she could think of: plain rice with a tiny pinch of cinnamon, bread with a drop of honey, and crackers with the smallest amount of mild cheese. "These contain almost no spice by human standards," she explained. "We'll start here and see how you react." The aliens gathered around, their bodies tense with both fear and excitement. Zilk was the first to try a piece of cinnamon rice. For a moment, nothing happened. Then Zilk's silvery skin flushed with patches of blue. "Are you okay?" Olivia asked, worried. "It is extraordinary," Zilk said. "There is sensation, but not pain. It is like seeing a new color." The other aliens tried their samples. One hummed with delight. Another's tentacles waved in what Olivia hoped was pleasure. Only one had a bad reaction, coughing and needing water. Word of this secret tasting spread among the more adventurous aliens. Soon, Olivia found herself hosting after-hours tasting experiences for small groups of curious non-humans. Each wanted to try the forbidden flavors of Earth, if only to say they had survived. What began as fear was turning into fascination. Olivia realized that food was doing what formal diplomacy couldn't, creating real connections across species. Still, she knew they were breaking rules. It would only be a matter of time before station authorities found out, anting to know about the strange humans who ate poison for fun. What had been planned as a formal dinner had turned into Earth's unexpected debut as the galaxy's most biologically puzzling species. Eric sent a message back to Admiral Kelly. First contact dinner successful. They think we're indestructible because of hot sauce. Recommend sending chef on next mission. Apparently human food is their version of toxic waste. The secret tastings at Terran Tastes grew more popular each week. Olivia learned that different alien species had vastly different reactions to Earth spices. The silvery-skinned Zilk and his kind could handle small amounts of cinnamon and ginger. The blue four-armed aliens enjoyed the mildest hint of black pepper. The floating bubble dwellers surprisingly loved the smell of mint, though they couldn't eat it. Olivia kept careful notes on each species and their reactions. She created a safety system with color codes and warning levels. Some aliens experienced what they described as pleasant visions after tasting vanilla. Others reported feeling a warm glow throughout their bodies from a drop of honey. It's not about the heat for them, Olivia explained to Eric during one of his visits. Their bodies process these compounds completely differently than ours. What gives us flavor gives them something like a mild psychoactive effect. Eric frowned. That sounds risky. Should we report this to Admiral Kelly? Not yet, Olivia said. I'm being extremely careful. Nobody has gotten sick. What Olivia didn't tell Eric was that word had spread beyond the station. Aliens from visiting ships now contacted her through Zilk, asking for the Earth experience. Some offered valuable trade goods just for a taste of diluted maple syrup or a sniff of garlic. Then came the knock on her door she had been dreading. It wasn't Eric, but Peter Garcia, head of security for the human section of Centauri Station. His serious face told Olivia everything before he spoke. Chef Russell, we need to talk about your after-hours activities, he said, stepping into her kitchen. Station sensors have detected unusual biochemical reactions in several non-human visitors leaving your restaurant. Olivia sighed. I suppose it was just a matter of time. Am I in trouble? Peter ran a hand through his short black hair. That depends. What exactly have you been doing here? Olivia showed him her notebooks and explained her careful testing process. She introduced him to Zilk, who happened to be helping catalog new spice samples. The chef has been extremely cautious, Zilk told Peter. She tests each substance at 1,000th of human tolerance before allowing any tasting. Peter walked around the kitchen, examining Olivia's careful labeling system and safety protocols. His expression softened slightly. You've been more careful than I expected, he admitted. But there's still a problem. The Galactic Union has strict rules about introducing new psychoactive substances across species. I'm not selling drugs, Olivia protested. It's just food. To humans, yes, but to them? Peter gestured at Zilk. You said yourself it affects them differently. That evening, Olivia, Peter, and Zilk sat down to find a solution. They couldn't stop what had already started, but they needed to make it safe and legal. What if we register Earth spices as controlled substances? Peter suggested. Create an official testing program with medical oversight. That could work, Zilk said. Many new substances enter the Galactic Union this way. There are procedures. They spent hours working out a plan. Peter would help navigate the legal challenges. Zilk would coordinate with xenobiologists. Olivia would develop standardized samples with clear potency labels. As they worked, a message arrived from station security. A ship from the Galactic Council was approaching. They were sending representatives to investigate reports of unauthorized substance distribution. They're coming about the spices, Zilk said, antennae twitching nervously. The Council does not like unexpected changes. How much time do we have? Peter asked. Their ship arrives tomorrow. Olivia looked at her kitchen, at the rows of herbs and spices she had brought from Earth. Things that had always been simple pleasures at home had become complicated diplomatic issues in space. Then we have work to do, she said. By morning, came too quickly. Olivia had worked through the night with Peter and Zilk, preparing for the Galactic Council representatives. Eric joined them early, bringing news that Dr. Samantha Jones, Earth's leading xenobiologist, had arrived on an overnight transport. Dr. Jones was tall and elegant, with dark skin and a serious expression. She carried a large case of equipment and wasted no time on pleasantries. Show me everything you have on alien reactions to Earth compounds, she said to Olivia. I need to understand what's happening on a biological level before the council arrives. Olivia handed over her notebooks while Peter explained their situation. The council believes we're distributing dangerous substances, he said. We need to prove that with proper testing and controls, some Earth foods can be safely consumed by certain species. Dr. Jones reviewed Olivia's notes carefully. Fascinating. The Verk species experiences mild hallucinations from vanilla, while the Trill can actually digest small amounts of capsaicin with no ill effects. She set up her equipment in Olivia's kitchen and began running tests on various spice samples. She worked with incredible speed, her hands moving confidently among test tubes and scanners. Your notes are remarkably detailed for someone without scientific training, Dr. Jones told Olivia. Cooking is science too, Olivia replied with a smile. Just with more tasting and less measuring. The station announced the arrival of the Galactic Council ship at midday. The council had sent 3 representatives. A tall, mantis-like being named Zen, a floating creature that looked like a jellyfish called Morb, and a small, furry alien with 6 eyes named Prell. They met in a conference room near the docking bay. Admiral Kelly joined by video link from Earth. The atmosphere was tense as Eric made introductions. We understand you have been distributing Earth substances to non-human species without proper authorization, Zen said, mandibles clicking. This is a serious violation of galactic health protocols. With respect, Dr. Jones stepped forward. We've been conducting controlled tests with willing participants. We've documented all results. She presented her findings, explaining how different species processed Earth compounds in unique ways. Some broke down the molecules completely. Others experienced mild, temporary effects before naturally filtering the substances. The council representatives listened without comment. Then Prell, the furry alien, spoke. Theory is not proof. Do you have practical evidence of safety? Before anyone could answer, an urgent message came through. An alien diplomat named Thorax had collapsed after visiting Terran Tastes. He had apparently stolen a bottle of hot sauce and consumed it on a dare. This is exactly the danger we feared, Zen said. This meeting is over. All Earth food substances will be confiscated immediately. Eric tried to argue, but the council representatives were already leaving. Dr. Jones grabbed her equipment. Take me to the patient, she told Peter. I might be able to help. They rushed to the medical bay where Thorax lay unconscious. He belonged to a species with delicate membranes and multiple hearts. The station doctor looked helpless. Our treatments aren't working. His system is overwhelmed by the compound. Dr. Jones analyzed a sample of Thorax's blood. The capsaicin is binding to receptor sites throughout his nervous system. We need to block those receptors. She worked quickly, synthesizing a compound that would neutralize the effects of the hot sauce. When she injected it into Thorax, everyone held their breath. Slowly, his breathing steadied. One of his 3 eyes opened. What happened? He asked. Weakly. You'll be fine, Dr. Jones assured him. But no more hot sauce for you. News of Dr. Jones saving Thorax spread quickly. When the Galactic Medical Council heard how she had created an anti-capsaicin treatment in minutes, they requested a meeting. That evening, Olivia, Eric, Peter, Dr. Jones and Zilk gathered in Terran Taste to discuss their next steps. They're still going to ban Earth foods, aren't they? Olivia asked. Maybe not, Eric said. Dr. Jones's treatment impressed them, and they're curious about why humans are so different. Dr. Jones looked thoughtful. That's the real question, isn't it? Why can humans consume compounds that are toxic to most other species? It's not just tolerance. Our biology seems uniquely adapted to process these substances. What are you suggesting? Peter asked. I'm not sure yet, Dr. Jones said slowly, but some species are starting to wonder if humans were somehow engineered. Tomorrow we need a presentation that will convince them Earth food isn't a threat. Peter's communication device buzzed. It was Eric Martinez. I just heard about the council ship, Eric said. The Admiral is not happy. He says to fix this or the entire culinary exchange program will be shut down. Olivia, Peter, and Zilk looked at each other. Their simple tasting experiment had grown into a potential diplomatic crisis. and they had less than 24 hours to solve it. 2 days after the thorax incident, the Galactic Union announced their decision. Earth food substances would be officially classified as controlled compounds, requiring special permits and safety protocols. It wasn't the ban everyone had feared, but it meant strict regulations. "We can work with this," Olivia said as she reviewed the new rules with Peter and Eric in her kitchen. "At least they didn't shut us down completely." Eric nodded. "Admiral Kelly says it's actually a good outcome. It gives us an official framework. Under the new system, Terran tastes would need special licensing. All spices had to be stored in secure containers. Aliens wanting to try human food needed to undergo medical screening and sign safety waivers. It feels like we're running a dangerous drug operation instead of a restaurant," Olivia complained. "To them, we are," Peter reminded her. "What's mild to us could kill someone else." Despite the regulations, interest in Earth cuisine grew. Dr. Jones continued her research, working with Zilk to map the biological differences between humans and other species. Her work gained attention across the Galactic Union. 1 month after the new rules took effect, Olivia had an idea. "We should start teaching aliens how to safely cook with Earth ingredients," she told Eric. "Not just letting them taste our food, but showing them how to adapt recipes for their own biology." Eric liked the idea. A culinary academy for interspecies cooking. It could improve diplomacy through shared meals. With approval from Admiral Kelly, Olivia and Peter established the first interspecies culinary academy on Centauri Station. They converted a storage area into a teaching kitchen with separate preparation areas for different biological needs. On opening day, 12 aliens from 8 species arrived for the first class. Olivia felt nervous as she faced them. "Welcome to Earth Cooking 101, she began. "Today we'll learn about herbs, the mildest flavor enhancers from Earth." The class was a success. The aliens were careful but curious, following Olivia's instructions to measure spices in micro amounts. Many discovered they could safely handle herbs like basil and oregano when properly diluted. As word spread about the academy, an unexpected message arrived from a species not part of the Galactic Union. The Krex Imperium, known for their aggressive expansion and military power, requested a private meeting with Earth representatives. Admiral Kelly asked Eric to attend, along with Captain Alicia Washington, commander of the USS Horizon. "Be careful," the Admiral warned. "The Krex rarely make diplomatic overtures unless they want something." The meeting took place aboard the Krex vessel, a massive ship with dark metal walls and dim red lighting. The Krex ambassador, General Vor, was tall and heavily built, with gray scaly skin and sharp teeth. "We have observed your species with great interest," Vor said through a translator. "Your biological resistance to toxins is impressive." "Thank you," Captain Washington replied carefully. She was a strong, no-nonsense woman with short gray hair and eyes that missed nothing. Vor continued. "The Krex Imperium would like to propose a military alliance with Earth. Your people's natural abilities would make you valuable in certain environments unfriendly to most species." Eric and Captain Washington exchanged glances. The offer was clear. The Krex wanted to use humans as troops in toxic areas where their own soldiers couldn't go. "Earth is committed to peaceful participation in the galactic community," Captain Washington said firmly. "We're not interested in military alliances at this time." Vor's expression didn't change. "Consider carefully. The Galactic Union limits you. They fear your potential. With us, humans could claim their rightful place among the stars." After the meeting, Eric and Captain Washington reported back to Admiral Kelly. The Admiral looked troubled by the news. "This complicates things," he said. "We don't want to be pulled into their conflicts, but we can't afford to make enemies either." "Captain?" Washington had a thought plans for the diplomatic dinner moved quickly. Captain Washington secured the station's largest meeting hall. Olivia designed special menus for each species. Dr. Jones provided biological guidance to ensure safety. Everything was coming together nicely. Then, 3 days before the event, disaster struck. Peter was doing his morning security check when emergency alarms blared through the station. He rushed toward the source, the human storage area. When he arrived, he found chaos. The door to Earth's spice storage unit had been blown open. Inside, shelves were toppled and containers broken. The air stung with the mixed smells of dozens of spices. "What happened?" Eric asked, arriving moments later. Peter examined the security cameras. "Explosion. Small but effective. Targeted just this room." Olivia arrived and gasped at the destruction. "The peppers, my herbs." She hurried inside, checking the damage. Most of the dried peppers from Earth were destroyed. Precious vanilla pods were crushed. Containers of cinnamon and nutmeg had spilled across the floor. Who would do this? She asked. The station security chief arrived with guards. "We detected 3 Muldarians near this section before the explosion." The Muldarians were a species with extremely sensitive sense organs. They had been among the most vocal critics of human food, claiming even the smell of earth spices caused them pain. News of the attack spread quickly. By afternoon, human merchants reported hostility from Muldarian shopkeepers. Muldarian diplomats filed formal complaints about dangerous human substances on the station. The fragile peace was breaking down. Admiral Kelly called an emergency meeting. "We need to prevent this from escalating. Captain Washington, find out who's responsible. Until then, postpone the diplomatic dinner." Peter wasn't satisfied with waiting. He decided to investigate on his own. To his surprise, he found himself joined by a Muldarian security officer named Vextil. "My people did not do this," Vextil said. His skin was pale green with sensory tendrils that waved gently around his face. "It makes us look guilty, which damages our standing." "You believe your people are being framed?" Peter asked. "I believe the truth needs finding," Vextil replied. "Will you work with me?" Despite the tension between their species, Peter agreed. They began by examining the explosion debris. Vexitil's sensitive tendrils detected chemical traces too faint for human equipment. "This explosive has Krex manufacturing marks," he said. "Not something Muldarians would use." They checked security footage from around the station. In one shadowy corridor, they spotted a figure in a hooded cloak entering a rarely used maintenance tunnel shortly before the explosion. "That tunnel leads directly to the spice storage area," Peter noted. They followed the tunnel and found scraps of the same cloak caught on a jagged piece of metal. The fabric had unusual fibers. "This is military-grade camouflage material," Vextil said. "Used by Krex Special Forces." The evidence was pointing to Krex involvement, but they needed proof that would convince the Galactic Council. They decided to check ships that had recently docked at the station. Records showed a small unmarked vessel had arrived 3 days ago and was scheduled to depart today. It was registered to a trading company, but the details seemed suspicious. Peter and Vextil hurried to the docking bay. They arrived just as the ship was preparing to leave. Using his security override, Peter delayed the departure for inspection. Inside, they found 3 Krex operatives. When confronted with the evidence, one tried to escape while the others reached for weapons. Station security quickly subdued them. A search of the ship revealed communication logs with direct orders from Krex Command: create conflict between humans and Muldarians, prevent alliance formation. Peter and Vextil brought their findings to Captain Washington and the Station Council. The evidence was clear. The Krex had staged the attack to drive a wedge between humans and the Galactic Union, hoping Earth would turn to them for alliance instead. The diplomatic dinner was rescheduled. Now it would serve not only to showcase Earth culture, but also to heal the rift that had nearly formed. Muldarian representatives officially apologized for their accusations. Humans agreed to improve containment of their spice storage. As Olivia assessed the damage to her supplies, she made a disturbing discovery. "Some containers are missing," she told Peter. "Not destroyed, taken, including my ghost peppers and Carolina Reapers." "The hottest peppers from Earth," Peter said with concern. "Why would the Krex want those?" Olivia looked worried. "In the wrong hands, those aren't just spices, they could be weapons." Full expression. "Perhaps there's another way to show our value beyond our biology. What if we host a diplomatic dinner? Something that showcases Earth culture, not just our unusual tolerance for certain substances. A multi-species meal, Eric added, warming to the idea. With dishes specially prepared for each biological need, show that we want to share, not dominate. The Admiral nodded slowly. Make it happen. Invite representatives from all species, including the Kreks. Let's show them that Earth has more to offer than poison-eating humans. The diplomatic dinner was a success. Captain Washington's speech about unity and understanding received warm applause. Olivia's carefully prepared dishes impressed representatives from 23 species. For a moment, it seemed the crisis had passed. Then the message came. It appeared simultaneously on every screen throughout Centauri Station. The face of General Vor of the Krex Imperium filled the displays. To the Galactic Union Council and all species of this station, he began. The Krex Imperium has acquired biological agents from planet Earth. We now have the capability to deploy these substances into the environmental systems of any habitat in the galaxy. The message included footage of Krex scientists working with red powders that Olivia immediately recognized as her stolen peppers. What you see are compounds lethal to most species, Vor continued. Humans call them ghost peppers, and Carolina, reapers. Even in microscopic amounts, they can cause extreme suffering to most oxygen-breathing life forms. The station erupted in panic. Aliens rushed to their ships. Emergency protocols activated. In the command center, Admiral Kelly, Captain Washington, and the station council watched in horror. Is this possible? The head counselor asked. Can they weaponize these peppers? Dr. Jones nodded grimly. In powder form distributed through air filtration systems? Yes, it would be devastating. General Vor's message continued. The Krex Imperium demands that the Galactic Union recognize our right to the Outer Rim territories. You have 48 hours to withdraw all forces from those regions. If you refuse, we will demonstrate our new weapon on a small habitat of our choosing. The transmission ended. The station council immediately called an emergency session. Eric, Peter, Olivia, and Dr. Jones were summoned to attend. How do we know these threats are real? One counselor demanded. Olivia stepped forward. Those were my peppers they showed, the hottest varieties from Earth, and they've been altered somehow. The color was wrong. Dr. Jones agreed. They appear to have enhanced the capsaicin concentration, made them even more potent. The council turned to Admiral Kelly. Your species brought this threat into our midst. What do you propose to do about it? Before the Admiral could answer, a new crisis emerged. Reports came in of several Galactic Union representatives calling for Earth's immediate quarantine. They labeled humanity a toxic species that had introduced biological weapons into peaceful space. This is exactly what the Krex wanted, Captain Washington said. To turn the Union against us. Admiral Kelly addressed the council firmly. Earth didn't create this weapon. The Krex stole our food and perverted its purpose, and we will help stop them. While the politicians debated, Olivia pulled Dr. Jones aside. I'm thinking about how capsaicin works, she said. On Earth, we drink milk to neutralize the burn. Could we create something similar that works for alien biology? Dr. Jones's eyes widened. A neutralizing agent. It's possible. I'd need to modify the formula I use to treat thorax. They brought their idea to the Admiral. If we can develop a treatment, we can protect against the Krex weapon, Dr. Jones explained. How long would it take? Admiral Kelly asked. Normally weeks of testing, but we don't have weeks. The Admiral made a decision. Start immediately. I'll provide whatever resources you need. Dr. Jones set up a lab with Olivia's help. They worked through the night, testing various compounds that might neutralize capsaicin effects across different alien biologies. The work was challenging. What helped one species might harm another. Meanwhile, Peter and Vextil analyzed the Krex message for clues about where the weapon might be deployed first. Eric coordinated with Earth, requesting emergency shipments of milk and other capsaicin-neutralizing foods. 24 hours into the crisis, Dr. Jones made a breakthrough. She had created a basic formula that could be M-time was running out. The small research station in the outer rim had been warned, but evacuation was impossible. 5,000 civilians would be at the mercy of the Kreks and their weaponized Earth peppers. Captain Washington prepared the USS Horizon for immediate departure. "We'll intercept the Kreks fleet," she told Admiral Kelly. "Try to buy some time." But Eric Martinez had another idea. He called an urgent meeting with Dr. Jones, Olivia, Peter, and Zilk. "Fighting the Kreks directly is too risky," Eric said. "We need to solve this with science, not weapons." Dr. Jones nodded. "My neutralizing agent works, but we can't produce enough in time." "What if we don't need to neutralize the weapon?" Eric suggested. "What if we neutralize the fear instead?" His plan was bold. A team of humans would travel to the threatened station and demonstrate that they could safely handle the capsaicin compounds. Then they would use their own bodies, specifically their immune systems, to create a fast-acting treatment. Human digestive enzymes break down capsaicin naturally, Dr. Jones explained. If we can extract and modify those enzymes, we could create a protective shield for other species. Admiral Kelly approved the mission. Within hours, Eric, Olivia, Dr. Jones, and Peter were aboard a fast transport ship headed for the research station. They carried samples of Dr. Jones's formula and equipment to produce more. They arrived just 6 hours before the Kreks deadline. The station's residents were terrified. Many had sealed themselves in their quarters while others crowded around the docking bays, desperate to leave. The human team set up a lab in the station's medical center. Dr. Jones took blood samples from all 4 humans and began extracting the enzymes that processed capsaicin. Olivia organized the station's medical staff to prepare for mass treatment. "What if it doesn't work?" a station doctor asked nervously. "Then at least we tried," Olivia replied. "And we're here with you, whatever happens." 4 hours before the deadline, Krek ships appeared on the station's scanners. They took position around the habitat, blocking all escape routes. Captain Washington arrived with the USS Horizon, but held back. A direct confrontation would only endanger the station further. In the lab, Dr. Jones made a breakthrough. "I've isolated the human enzyme that neutralizes capsaicin," she announced, "and I've modified it to work with most alien physiologies." "Can we produce enough in time?" Eric asked. "Just barely," she replied. "Everyone will need an injection, as in..." The station's medical staff began administering the treatment. General Vor sent another message. "Your time is up. Surrender the Outer Rim territories or we deploy our weapon." The Galactic Union Council refused to be blackmailed. "We do not negotiate under threats," they replied. Everyone on the station held their breath. 3 Kreks ships moved closer, preparing to release the capsaicin weapon into the station's air supply. That's when Eric made his move. He opened a direct channel to General Vor's ship. "General," he said calmly, "before you attack, you should know something about humans." He signaled to Peter, who activated a video feed. It showed Olivia calmly eating a ghost pepper, the very substance the Kreks had weaponized. "What you see as a deadly weapon, we see as food," Eric continued. "And we've shared our immunity with everyone on this station." General Vor looked stunned. "Impossible. No species can resist these toxins. Humans can," Eric said. "And now, thanks to Dr. Jones, so can they." To prove his point, Dr. Jones administered the treatment to Zilk live on the video feed. Then she exposed him to a small amount of capsaicin powder. Zilk showed no ill effects. The Kreks weapon had lost its power. General Vor's face twisted with anger, but he had no choice. Without their threat, they were outnumbered by the Galactic Union forces that had gathered. "This isn't over," Vor growled before cutting the transmission. The Krek ships withdrew, disappearing into deep space. In the days that followed, Dr. Jones's treatment was shared throughout the Galactic Union. Human biology, once feared, became the basis for new medical treatments. Earth's position in the galactic community was secured not through weapons or threats, but through sharing something uniquely human. 6 months later, Olivia stood in the grand opening of the official Terran Culinary Institute. The spacious teaching kitchen was filled with students from dozens of species, all eager to learn about Earth cuisine safely. Today we're making mild salsa, Olivia announced to her class. And for those who want to try it, yes, Zilk, I see your hand up. We have special small batch hot sauce, properly diluted for each species. Eric, now the official diplomatic liaison for the Institute, smiled as he watched. At a nearby table, Zilk and 3 other aliens cautiously dipped their appendages into tiny samples of mild salsa, sweating slightly but clearly enjoying the experience. Isn't it amazing? Peter said, joining Eric. One species' poison is another's pleasure. That's humanity for you, Eric replied. Always finding joy in the strangest places, even in something as simple as spicy food. Odified for most oxygen breathing species, it wasn't perfect, but it could reduce suffering if the Kreks carried out their threat. We need to mass produce this immediately, she told Admiral Kelly, and distribute it to all vulnerable habitats. As production began, new intelligence arrived. The Kreks battle fleet was moving toward a small research station near the outer rim. It was home to 5,000 civilians from 12 different species. That's their target, Captain Washington said grimly. We have less than 12 hours to stop them.